She's got her own thing. That's why I love her. I have a lot to say about Lilith. Lilith, the dark mother, the dark goddess, Adam's first wife, the first independent woman, the first witch, the first female going her own way, the first female entrepreneur. Lilith represents many different things. She's associated with many different things. Today in this video, I will be discussing the Black Moon Lilith and Lilith as a deity. There are around 3 or 4 types of Lilith. One is the Lilith as an asteroid, the actual physical representation of Lilith. So this is the only physical form of Lilith, because the Black Moon Lilith is not like a constellation, it's not a planet, it is not the moon. So the asteroid Lilith is the only physical representation of Lilith. Most people know about the Black Moon Lilith because when it comes to calculating your astrology and all that, your zodiac chart, that's the most common Lilith. It's the mean Lilith. So the Black Moon Lilith is kind of like the ascendant sign, your ascendant sign, and it's kind of like the vertex. It's a mathematical point. So like I said, with Lilith, there are no physical representations of Lilith besides the asteroid Lilith. That's the only physical representation of Lilith out there. So the Black Moon Lilith and the mean Lilith is described as the apogee of a lunar orbit. So the apogee is basically the point where the moon is furthest away from the earth. Some people like to use the osculating Lilith more than the Black Moon Lilith because it's known as the true Lilith. It's known to be a little bit more accurate by some people. And some people think that it's more accurate because it follows the actual moon's orbit as opposed to the Black Moon Lilith. There's also the Dark Moon Lilith or Waltz-Mouth Lilith, which I won't really be getting into. We're still going to get into the archetypal energy of Black Moon Lilith and Lilith as a deity, as a goddess, what she represents. In my esoteric videos, in my occultic videos, my zodiac and astrology planet videos, I am not just getting into each individual sign because there's so many videos like that. What is Lilith in Pisces? What is Jupiter in Scorpio? What is Venus in Cancer? No, I'm not getting into every zodiac sign and this, that, and the houses yet, because people need to understand what the planets represent. They need to understand what their houses represent. They need to understand what the asteroids and constellations and all that mean and what they represent. What is the deeper knowledge with those? Because before jumping into astrology, you need to have the basics laid down, the first step laid down before getting into the deeper parts of astrology. So that is very important. You don't just jump into it and expect to just know everything right off the bat. A lot of people need to learn about the different houses, the different nodes. They need to learn about constellations. They need to learn about many different things, okay? So the house that lies in your Black Moon Lilith and the zodiac or astrology sign that lies in your Lilith is important to know, your Black Moon Lilith, because that is to do with your subconscious. It's to do with things you repress and things that you might repress so much that when you decide to attempt to bring up these feelings or these emotions or these thoughts, you go overboard with it. it's to the extreme. So it's about the subconscious. It's about repressing certain sides of yourself, not just emotions, but like certain expressions you might have, certain creative passions or hobbies and things you might feel ashamed of, or maybe you were shamed for it in a past life, maybe you were shamed for it in this life. So it's to do with things like that. It's to do with facing your shadow as well. A lot of the battles and stuff with Lilith is like internal battles. It's a mental battle. Why is it not physical battle? Why is Lilith not a physical battle? Okay, we're going to get into this because this is very important to know. Lilith is not that confrontational as she is depicted, because I understand in TV, cinema, movies, people like to over-dramatize things and all that. She can protect herself when she wants to. However, in my opinion, she is not as aggressive as other goddesses and deities. Why? Well, Lilith is simply an individual that went her own way. She didn't argue with Adam. She didn't have a full-on fist fight with Adam, okay? Because when it comes to fighting, war, anger, aggression, when it comes to combat, that is to do with Mars, Aries, god of war. Mars, what's in your Mars sign? That is to do with fighting, combat, and all that. And also Pluto. So Mars and Aries, Pluto, Scorpio. Pluto and Scorpio is associated with destruction and a little bit with army, police, crime, and combat. So those two, Mars and Pluto, those two planets are more confrontational, okay? They're more confrontational because, the Plutonian energy encourages individuals to seek revenge and to act out that revenge, take whether it's physical, whatever. Let's take a look at Lilith to begin with, okay? She did not engage in combat or a fight with Adam. She simply left Adam. Can she stand her ground? Can she be aggressive? Oh yeah, for sure, when she wants to, because she represents the darker parts of us, okay? I know she's a female deity, but men have Lilith as well. Men have Lilith in their astrological chart, right? So this is to do with everybody. Lilith is to do with everyone. We're not excluding any gender because every single gender out there has Lilith within them. I'm just having some English black tea. It tastes so nice. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into the history with Lilith. So Lilith was basically created out of mud, created out of dirt, just like Adam. She was created by God, as was Adam. And they were created from the same substance. So because of this, Lilith always felt she was equal to Adam. She felt she was his equal. They were created from the same substance. Now, when Adam was kind of like saying, you should be a bit more subservient. You are the female, you are the woman, I'm the man. You should just lay down with me. You should do this, you should do that. He was saying you should be subservient. You should follow my lead, follow my command. I'm the man, you're the woman. You should obey me. That kind of thing. Be more humble, be more respectful. Lilith clearly didn't like that because she left his ass, right? She's like, bye, I'm not gonna just let you control my whole life and tell me what to do for the rest of my life. I am equal to you. Lilith thought she was equal to Adam. Why? Well, they're created from the same substance. It's not like with Eve, where Eve was created from Adam's ribs. Lilith was made of the same substance as Adam, so she thought she was his equal and all that. Some people, when it comes to the mythology of Lilith, like to say Lilith wanted to wear the pants in the relationship, where Lilith was the more dominant, wanted to be the more dominant one in the relationship. So maybe more bossy with Adam. Maybe she didn't want to be submissive with Adam. She didn't want to be submissive with him. So for me, I just see Lilith as a female that went her own way. She departed from Adam, but she didn't do it in a very like aggressive way. She didn't do it in a way like a confrontational way. She just left. So she wasn't going to get into a scrap with Adam, you know, like that would be a petty thing to do. And I find with the Lilith energy on the whole, it's kind of like pretty straightforward. It's either like if you're working with her as a deity, like it's pretty much give and take, push and pull, reciprocal energy. You know, she knows if you're fucking around with her. She knows if you're keeping it real. She knows like you can't cheat her out of anything, because she will know, and she's not going to even want to be around you. Like as a deity, you can't really fool her. You can't half-ass it with her. You have to keep it real with Lilith. She's pretty observant and she's pretty rational, and she doesn't let people tell her what to do, you know. She's kind of marched to the beat of her own drum. So Lilith is associated with our primitive natures, our primitive side, our subconscious, our dark energy, our dark side, things that we suppress from people. She's associated with our hidden feelings, hidden emotions, people's hidden feelings, people's hidden passions, hidden preferences, like certain things, you know, that people don't want to come out and say in public. They don't want to come out and say it, but they feel a certain type of way. And when they're alone, they think about these things. They think about what they really like in a partner, what they want their ideal partner to be, to look like what kind of job or profession they want their partner to have, what kind of physical look they want their partner to have, like all these hidden things. They don't openly come out and share this with everyone around them in society, no, because it's personal things, personal preference. It is something that they know they will be judged for. So whatever people like to stigmatize and judge, you know, this is to do with the Black Moon Lilith, because a lot of the times when people don't want to share certain things with others and what they're into is because they think they're going to get shamed, ridiculed, bullied, told off by people, you know, like stuff like that. So this is to do with Lilith. Lilith can also manifest as karmic energy within people's lives. So karmic energy to basically teach people things, karmic lessons. She can manifest as that. That's why it's important to calculate your Lilith sign, because you need to know what kind of karmic lessons you're going to be having in your life. And if you look up your Lilith sign and also the house that your Lilith is in, you will kind of understand where certain karmic lessons in your life, because there's all other karmic lessons that people experience. You will understand where certain karmic lessons in your life are coming from and what it's trying to teach you, okay? When I was discussing the moon, I mentioned emotions a lot, you know, because the moon is to do with our emotions and how we feel. Lilith, on the other hand, it's about our repressed emotions or our extreme emotions, because when Lilith, when people embrace their Lilith, they do extreme things. Like they go overboard. That's what she's associated with. Like when you let your Lilith loose, you will just go all out, extreme, very, 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 to a high degree, you know, of extreme. And intensity, because she has that intense energy, kind of like Pluto a little bit. Lilith stays for about 9 months in each zodiac sign, approximately 9 months. Lilith is about the misunderstood parts of you, the, you know, kind of like emo parts of you, the more darker parts of you, things that people don't really understand, things that are taboo, things that are, she used to do with things that are taboo and out there and weird. She's associated with like things that society deems as unacceptable, especially like when it comes to like religion and all that. Of course, many Christians have a big problem with Lilith and all that, and they've demonized Lilith for a long time. And you know, there's good and bad parts of Lilith, so it's understandable because there's good and bad, just like with any kind of god or goddess. There's positive and negative. You know, nothing is perfect. So but a lot of Christians do really stigmatize and demonize her, and basically they don't like that Lilith is representing all these things. She's representing taboo things. She's representing, you know, things that society deems as unacceptable. She's representing the shadow, dark thoughts of everybody, men and women, every gender, every person. She's representing the dark stuff, the dark natures, you know, all the bad, gritty stuff she's representing. So that's understandable. There's bad parts of Lilith because she represents all these dark things within society. However, when it comes to religion and all that, you know, not just with Christianity, but there's good and bad sides of religion as well. I mean, if we look at past history, a lot of religion, you know, when it comes to Christianity, a lot of these Christian people, when they were trying to convert people, they didn't just do it in a peaceful way. A lot of people were killed and murdered. A lot of children were abused by priests and nuns, and even to this day, the Christian people that are Christians are still very destructive to certain people. Some of them are violent, some of them are run cults and all that. So I see the good sides of Christianity and I see the bad sides of Christianity just as much as I see the good sides of spirituality and the bad sides of spirituality, because there's cults that are like spiritual cults as well that exist, and they've hurt people as well. So I don't like subscribing to put myself into a category, especially as someone of mixed heritage. You know, I have many things, many types of ancestors within me, and I don't subscribe or label myself as just one thing, as this, as that, as a pagan, as a Christian, as a Wiccan. Like, I don't label myself because I am many things. I'm a walking and living, breathing many things because of my ancestral heritage. I'm many things of my ancestral heritage. I'm multiracial, so I'm just a walking I'm a walking energy of many things, you know? So, yeah. And also, certain teachings and all that from Christianity, I agree with. I don't agree with everything. So, people need to be careful with their Lilith energy, because it's nice to do shadow work, especially use a deity like her for shadow work and to go through dark parts of yourself and express the suppressed parts of yourself. But sometimes expressing those parts of yourself that you know that are bad, you need to be careful with how you express them, because there are karmic consequences with what you do and how you go about your life. By acting out certain things and understanding polarity and balance in this world, individuals have to be careful with what they are doing. So if they're utilizing their Lilith energy, which they have been suppressing and they want to embrace it more, they need to be careful just how they go about it, because she can encourage people to be more indulgent, more selfish. She can encourage that as a way to help people protect themselves, just to stop being taken advantage of. You know, she can encourage you to stand your ground, to fight for what you believe in, to, you know, if you think you're being treated unfairly, you know, something like that. Lilith is to do with standing up for yourself, making sure that you can actually have the energy and the willpower to do that in this world. So her energy, you know, sometimes it's like a surge of energy with her. Like, you need to be careful with that energy, because if you fall into that energy too much, it can actually start destroying and eroding more things in your life, or causing more chaos and imbalance in your life. So because her energy is so passionate, so like intense, that when she's fighting for a cause, it's so intense. Just like when she was Adam, she's like, fuck it, I had enough, I'm gone, you know what I mean? So she's all in it. She's all or nothing. Like, she's like in it or she's not. There's no like in between with her. What I found with her energy, there's no in between. So you need to be careful with that, because like I said, it's when she's expressing, when people express those repressed sides of themselves, they do it in an extreme way. They go overboard with it. So the people that are utilizing Lilith as a deity need to know and understand that the energy that she might give you can be a surge of energy, and if you aren't ready for that, it might cause some instability, or it might be a bit too much to handle for some people, because it's a surge of energy. She jumps in it, all or nothing. Just like when she was with Adam, it's all or nothing. You're either gonna respect me or you're gonna see me walk out the door. I want respect. If I'm not getting it, I'm gonna be leaving. There's no like balance, okay? This is not anything to do with Libra at all. There's no balance here, right? It's all or nothing with Lilith. And people need to realize that, especially people that have her as a deity. Like was mentioned earlier, Lilith can help people get out of abusive situations. She can help people get out of, kind of help people with trauma, you know, because she's to do with shadow work and all that, and healing, deep emotions, deep feelings. And she can also help people leave and find peace and solitude, find some kind of healing from the trauma they've been through. For example, people experience abuse in friendships, in spouse relationships, with their family. They experience abuse. Some people experience abuse in institutions. Some people experience abuse in the workplace. Some people experience abuse in religious organizations or churches and all that. Some people experience abuse in spiritual cults and spiritual groups, and so on and so forth. So she's gonna help people escape from that. And especially in the darkest moments of that, that's when she can actually really do a 180, turn things around in 180, reverse the energy and help people through those hard times. Lilith energy and Lilith as a deity is not really something you call upon for frivolous things. It's not something you call upon for material. It's like to get you out of dire circumstances and situations, like that kind of gritty, the dark parts of society. Like if you are experiencing kind of like dangerous things in your life, dangerous situations, that is when you need to act upon with your Lilith energy, basically. Because when she is aggressive, when she wants to be aggressive, it's really scary. It's just straight up demon, straight up demon time when she's ready for demon time. So that is the shadow side of her, that is the dark side of her. It comes out in the darker parts of society in this world. So the darker parts of Lilith comes out in really extreme times, I'd say, or times where people want to stand their ground. Lilith is an equal opportunist. The energy with her must be reciprocal. If she's giving you and you're taking, you need to give back. You know, there has to be reciprocal energy. Yeah, reciprocal energy with Lilith. You can't hide and suppress knowledge from Lilith. You cannot make money off of her and expect her not to do the same with you. Like, the energy always has to be on the same level. On the same level. Also, another thing with Lilith I found interesting is she was apparently the first vampire on Earth. She was the first vampire. Lilith was depicted in ancient Mesopotamia and Babylon. There are like sculptures of her, there are carvings of her in walls and in temples. So she is a very old, ancient goddess, and she sometimes is depicted with wings. In some of the carvings, she has wings, and people are saying, well, you know, when she was leaving Adam, she just grew up hair and then flew away because, you know, she's a witch, so she's able to manifest things or create certain things and change situations and circumstances in her life because she understands the power of alchemy. She understands transformative energy transformation. So, yeah, she's interchangeable with a lot of other deities, for example, Kali and Shiva the Destroyer, you know, Hindu goddesses and all that. Certain goddesses are interchangeable with Lilith. So in these ancient cultures, ancient Mesopotamia, Babylon, you know, they didn't just like worship Lilith as something physical. It was more like energy with the worship of her, like what she represents and all that, the energy she gives, you know, the energy she pushes out into this world, into the universe. So that's the thing with deities, working with that. It's more than just the physical with deities. There's also an energy behind each deity. So, and ancient cultures knew this. Clearly, they had these gods and goddesses. Those were their gods and goddesses, actually, before, like, you know, religion and all that. Those were their gods and goddesses. Things like Lilith, things like Venus, you know, what else? And then the Egyptians had their own Osiris. They had Isis, you know, every culture had their own gods. Lilith is just one of the many. I think a good pop culture example of showing people's Lilith signs and Lilith energy would be murder mystery novels and movies. Because when the detectives and people uncover things, they uncover all the baggage, all the hidden stuff within each suspect. All the stuff the suspect is trying to hide and cover up, they uncover. It's their job to uncover and dig up everything, every last detail. You know, for example, Monsieur Poirot in Agatha Christie's books and novels. He was very precise and detailed, and he was able to pull up every single detail with each individual. And everything that these so-called suspects were trying to hide, he was able to dig up. He was able to find out all the things they were suppressing, all the things that they were hiding under the surface that normally would just fly over people's head. Like, one would not be able to detect these things. But this detective had a really good eye. He was able to see through everything and could really deeply understand each individual, which I don't know if there's people out there like that are very perceptive. There's certain people that are a little bit perceptive in some ways but lacking in other ways, but he was like on the ball. He really was able to, I know it's a fictional character, but he really was able to get beneath the surface. To me, those kinds of books and novels and movies, like the detective movies and crimes and all that, like that gets to the bottom of why people do things, what's their motive. There's always a motive, there's always a reason. And to me, that kind of reminds me of Lilith, because people don't share things out in the open. They suppress it until they reach a breaking point, and they just go overboard and binge on certain energy that they've been trying to suppress for so long, or they haven't worked out their shadows, they haven't dealt with it, they haven't had the opportunities to deal with it, they haven't had the support network to get them through it, the teachings, principles, you know. In my opinion, people have reasons for doing things. It doesn't just happen overnight. I believe that there's a lot of reasons and motives for why people do certain things in this world that clearly they don't want to come out and share, because it's very deep, it's very personal, deeper issues. That doesn't justify what they do, because you know they do really bad things, but I think there's always a motive and a reason behind a lot of things in this world. Despite when people say, oh, you know, it's not, you know, it's just something else. No, like I think with a lot of people there's certain kind of motives and reasons. So what other bad things are associated with Lilith? Temptation, lust, carnal desire, emotional recklessness, carnal desire is associated with Lilith. Incubus and succubus, demons, demonic energy, those are really darker sides of Lilith. Temptation, cheating, lying, blackmail. There's good and bad to a lot of deities. In my opinion, the good sides of Lilith outweigh the bad, but you know, if an individual can't handle Lilith energy, their dark energy, they're going to struggle with it. They're going to have issues with it because they're not educated in that kind of stuff at all, in that kind of energy at all. They don't know how to handle themselves in the situations that Lilith will put them in. So, or they won't be able to handle themselves or handle the Lilith energy when they're put in a tough situation. They won't know how to truly act with the Lilith energy to the point where they'll be actually successful. The Black Moon Lilith is also associated with the sexual liberation of men and women. You know, it's to do with things that are taboo and all that in certain societies, maybe like interracial dating, maybe like same-sex marriage, you know, stuff like that. So yes, Lilith knows what everyone is hiding. She knows what you're hiding from yourself, what you're hiding from the world around you, you know. She accepts those sides of you, though. That's the thing. Like, she understands that nothing around us is perfect. There's like, where there's good, there's bad, you know. She understands that. So that's why she represents the taboo. Like, for example, a good, God-fearing Christian housewife who's a role model citizen, but is having an affair with her pastor. Her husband doesn't know about. Her husband doesn't know about this, you know, like stuff like that. Like, she goes to church every Sunday. She's God-fearing. Everyone in the community loves her. She's just the role model suburban housewife, the perfect housewife, but she's not only is she having an affair with the pastor, she's having multiple affairs with people in her church. You know what I'm saying? So this is the dark part of Lilith. Another part of Lilith, the fierce CEO, the boss, the top boss, like he's a CEO and he is feared by everyone in his company. He's just very demanding, very intense kind of boss, but he likes to be dominated on the weekends by a dominatrix, right? He likes to be submissive when he's in the company of females or certain types of females. So, you know, he has two sides of himself. He has the mask that he puts on for people and to like achieve and get things done and to be held up in a certain way. And then he has another side to himself that he wants to express more. He wants to express his side more. And you know, that's definitely taboo in a lot of people's eyes, but I mean, Lilith understands it because Lilith is the taboo. Lilith knows what taboo is. That's like part of her energy. She's associated with, you know, temptation, lust, carnal desire, hidden, repressed emotions. So people that might have a foot fetish or something like that, like really extreme, weird, out there things. But the interesting thing is what is weird to someone could be normal to another person. You know, it depends on the culture, it depends on the upbringing, you know, the kind of friends that people had growing up in life. So what's weird to someone might just be normal to another person, which is interesting now in this day and age. And we live in the internet age where people of different subcultures and different, you know, quirky, weird groups or artists come together and meet with each other and hang around people that are supposedly like-minded or similar to them, share certain hobbies and beliefs. It could be like people that are into comics, people that are into certain video games, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, anyway, is Lilith really a demon like people say she is? Is she really a witch, a vampire, and all that? Because you have to remember that with Christianity and organized religion, they wanted to tarnish the reputation of pagan gods or certain gods and goddesses as much as possible, because they wanted to, and still to this day, they want Christianity to be the most clean, the most pure, you know, the Jesus and Mary, you know, just the way that they depict Christianity and the people in the Bible and all that. It's just the most righteous, the most, actually no, they have good and bad about it, but because they wanted to wipe out a lot of the pagan beliefs and pagan systems and structures, they had to demonize the pagan gods and goddesses, especially when they're converting people to Christianity. What's the first step? You have to demonize. You start demonizing things with the paganism. It's just like saying, oh, there's this race of people, and guess what they're into, guess what they do, or there's this person over there, guess what they've been doing, you know, starting rumors, putting ideas in people's heads, like, you know what I mean, like kind of influencing people and making them feel and think a certain way, using their emotions against them. It's very manipulative. But that's what they were doing, because, you know, they're trying to convert people into Christianity. What other strategy are you going to use, really and truly? You have to do certain kind of mind tactics to people to get them to convert. So that was one of the ways or still is practiced now, like to get people to convert. And it goes both ways, you know, it goes both ways in both spirituality and Christianity, or organized religion, whether it's Muslim or whatnot. You know, in each kind of like spiritual faith, they have that to get people to convert. So it's not, I'm not just putting this on Christians when other faiths and religions do it. So yeah, so maybe that is one of the reasons why Lilith is always depicted as something really bad and negative. That could be one reason, but good and bad exists in this world of duality, and it's important to understand that. So when you are looking to a deity, you don't have to put them on such a pedestal. Or if you're looking to some kind of god, goddess, or even just a mentor or a teacher, don't put them on a pedestal, because they have their own goods and bads. They have their own pros and cons. No one on this planet is perfect. No. Doesn't matter how righteous and holy they are. Doesn't matter how many retreats they've been to. You know what I'm saying? One of the ways that people in societies would keep women in place and obedient and all that was through religion. So yes, anything to do with paganism and all that was demonized and stigmatized, because women were easier to control through religion. Everyone in general, society in general. So yes, they have witch hunts, they have, you know, all those trials. We know about the Salem witch trials, all that kind of stuff. We know about, there was a persecution of people that didn't want to become Christian in many different countries. There was like anyone that didn't want to, that wasn't, you know, practicing Christianity, blah blah, was thrown in jail. You know, it doesn't matter what gender they were. They were thrown in jail and all that because they didn't want to conform to what society was doing at that time. The reason why people are repressing certain things is because in the past, people were persecuted for their expressions, for their beliefs, for their creativity, like different things, you know. They were persecuted for certain things. Lilith is also our instinctual side. The side that is unfiltered. The side of us that just is really random, you know, just randomly comes out now and again. Especially when people are feeling confident about their quirks and about the weird sides of themselves, they will let that weird wackiness come out. You know, even if people think it's not really acceptable, even if people think, oh my god, that's really crazy, that's taboo, that's really extreme, you know. So she's the unfiltered, nitty-gritty sides of humans, both men and women, because you have to remember that just because I'm talking about a female deity, you know, all men on earth have Lilith, you know, and they have their own shadow sides. All men have their own shadow sides. They have Lilith. So yes, men and women have Lilith in their astrological charts. Men and women have their goods and bads. No one gender is like superior, no one gender is flawless. Like all genders have goods and bads. There's goods and bads in all groups. So we learned a lot about Lilith today. Do check out more videos on my channel and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Take care.